Hello and welcome to Not the Worst Podcast. This is episode 12. I am JD, joined by my co-host Anthony, and we are going to be talking about a lot of good stuff today. We got some military stuff, some video game stuff, a little YouTube semi-drama stuff, I guess. I don't know. But say hello, Anthony, and talk to us about your intro.
Well, guys, it's me, Anthony. First off, I was going to say you guys may be noticing the past 2 or 3 episodes, we've been an hour later, or half an hour later. JD's son is getting bigger, getting older, which means big boys get older or later bedtimes. So JD has to wait till his son is put to bed.
Yeah, he's still a jerk though. I give him a later bedtime. I let him stay up later, and he still treats me like garbage. Kids.
It's how they show love.
Yeah.
And we're actually especially late because JD is streaming on YouTube not the first time streaming on YouTube, but the first time doing the podcast on YouTube. And he was getting that set up, and I had some personal emergencies I had to address.
Okay.
So that delayed me.
We're not going to. Nobody wants to know.
No, I don't want to know. I have to deal with it.
Okay, moving on.
The last thing I was going to bring up is for those of you who are tuned into last week's episode, we talked about Command Conquer Remaster and the fact that EA is releasing the source code. Well, we got some good news because we forgot. I don't think we mentioned the release date, but it is releasing on June 5th, so about a week, and it's already available for pre-order on Steam for $20. It's the whole collection, so go ahead and grab it. We talked to a friend of ours before this podcast, and he mentioned that there's a mod out for it already, so the modders are already getting their hands into that source code and having some fun with it. So
yeah, it's gonna be great. I think it's gonna be really fun. I think it's a no-brainer if you've ever played any Command and Conquer games. It really takes me back. Reminds me of, I mean, that's honestly why I never really got into shooters until like Halo, was because I was so interested in strategy games like Command and Conquer.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely already bought it. I'm down. I'm playing it when it comes out.
It's going to be fun. We're excited. And JD's mentioned it before, but the Brotherhood of Nod actor has come back.
Yeah.
And he's making a reappearance.
Yep. You definitely see that guy and you go, I remember
Kane.
You. Yep. Kane. Yeah. So it's great.
So, reach out for the hand of Nod and touch it.
Please don't. Please don't touch my Nod. You leave my Nod alone, sir.
Fine.
So let's start with our first topic. We're going to talk about Skyborg.
Yes.
The Skyborgs.
The Skyborgs
kind
are
of a
real.
menacing name, I guess. If you say it in a menacing way.
It does. It's Skyborg. It does not sound like the friendly cyborg from Teen Titans.
Never watched it. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Have.
Yeah, obviously, because you knew what you were talking about.
He's in Justice League 2.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh, okay. The superhero cyborg. Gotcha. Yeah. Okay, yeah. I'm with you.
Probably should have led off with the Justice League cyborg, not the Teen Titans.
Yeah. I don't know. It's fine.
Anyway, Skyborgs. We're not talking about comic book movies right now. But if you're interested, let us know with hashtag.
Right.
With hashtag into NTWP. So
that's right.
The Air Force. I don't know if you guys remember. It was our first or second episode. I brought up the Mosaic warfare principle or philosophy.
It was one of those first ones.
Yeah. The reason why I'm bringing up this article to give us our little dose of military, but also because it kind of touches bases on that whole philosophy of warfare with the Mosaic or Lego warfare. The Air Force is going to have as early as 2023, so the next 2 or 3 years, these very inexpensive weaponized drones. And the reason why I say it ties into the Mosaic warfare principle, and this Popular Mechanics article mentioned that they've talked about having 2 or 3 of these fly alongside a piloted F-35, and the pilot controls or gives commands to said drones to aid them as wingman. So instead of having a squadron of 6 to 7 F-35s with men in it flying, you'll have one man with 3 to 4 drones. And if you lose a drone, they're cheap, they're not expensive at all, and you don't lose a life except for the enemy we most likely killed with said drone. And hopefully just the enemy. That being said, the reason why I say that, I understand the risks of drones, and it's Elon Musk's worst nightmare coming to life. Apparently, he's afraid of automation. So, anyway, the Skyborg, it's not gonna be like the Predator or the Global Hawk or the Reaper or any of the other drones we're already known. Those are actually still manned from a remote location, either on the other side of the world or sometimes in theater, depending on the mission it's operating. These are going to be completely autonomous, with the exception of the F-35 pilot. These are just going to be pre-programmed. They're supposed to adapt and learn and overcome and make their own decisions, land on their own, take off on their own, rearm on their own, refuel on their own. So it's kind of scary if you're into the whole Terminator thought process. Or if you ever see the blockbuster, ever so amazing movie Stealth, it's also got that risk factor in there.
Really? We're going with Stealth? That's the reference we want to make? Nobody wants to talk about Stealth. Nobody.
That was great cinema, sir. Great cinema.
Classic. A classic that will live with us forever.
They're playing hard rock in the Korean hangar and destroy everything and make their escape to the DMZ.
Please stop.
Come on.
Please stop. Nobody wants to remember Stealth. Nobody.
Sad thing is I've seen that movie once and I still remember most of the scenes in it.
It's because you're
But
dumb.
anyway, I am. And it's actually, though, in all joking aside, what exactly happened in Stealth is pretty much what's going to happen with these drones. It was a squadron of pilots flying alongside a drone, and the drone took input from the pilots to attack its targets. So that's to dumb it down. This is essentially what these drones are going to end up doing. They're also talking about there was something else I saw in here. They are going to have different types of sky drones. The contract for these sky drones are as cheap as $400 million. I know that doesn't sound cheap, but considering the other defense contracts for F-22s and F-35s, that's actually really cheap.
Yeah, I mean, the contract will be $400 million, but it'll be to develop a lot of drones and several different types of drones compared to like buying a plane. That's you pay $100 million and you get one plane, right? So,
yeah.
So like, you know, in order to outfit an entire Air Force, you would have to pay billions of dollars to get those planes versus $400 million for a bunch of drones that theoretically, once you've figured out how to manufacture them quickly, won't keep costing you as much, right? It's kind of like, Xbox consoles. Xboxes go down over time because they figure out how to make them cheaper. And it's the same console, even a little better, just cheaper. They'll do the same thing with Skyborg.
So Microsoft makes more on the high end, and
Right.
because they're producing more, selling more, and making it cheaper.
Yeah.
And he brought up mass producing these things. They're talking about trying to go as far as having World War II production style for these drones. We had hundreds and thousands of aircraft in World War II because we just cranked them out left and right, and that's what they're going for. World War II, we did highly effective aircraft. Well, I won't say highly. They were lacking in some areas, but they were really cheap. So we had mass quantities of these things. And if essentially, as sad as it sounds, because these were manned, we overwhelmed the enemy with numbers. It wasn't so much about the technology of the aircraft. It was just we had so many, we overwhelmed them, and there wasn't a whole lot they can do about it. But at that point, it was costing human lives. This point, in theory, if this works well, again, the only life that should be lost is the enemy being attacked, whereas our pilots should be able to stay out of harm's way as much as possible using these drones.
And what's cool about this? Oh, sorry, you can go.
No, go ahead. No,
okay.
I
was just going to say, I was reading the source article from Defense News, and what's cool about what they're doing is obvious. I mean, it's kind of obvious when you think about it, but they already have the AI. Like what we're talking about is essentially what we have in long distance trucking, like the trucks that can drive themselves and deliver cargo across the country. That's basically what we have just for the air. That's where the name Skyborg comes from, is that it's the name of the AI that's driving these things. So the body isn't nearly as important as the computer mind inside of it, right? Like they could make these out of wood and paper mache if they wanted to, as long as the stupid AI could fly it. Like that's all that matters.
And the AI can be uploaded to servers, so they don't have
Right.
to.
Yeah, and so you don't lose anything from losing the drone, but they'll make different types that have different armaments or different radar or whatever. And the thing that they were talking about with the AI is that it can adapt to different situations. And in fact, they were thinking about using it as an R2D2 style. That's what the article says. R2D2 type assistant, where it was actually inside the jet with the pilot and helping the pilot out. But they decided to go with autonomous drones instead as part of the Mosaic warfare thing that we were talking about. So the fact that they have this AI is what's really cool. And the fact that it's smart enough to do all of this at a high performance, and they're already like, they wouldn't be giving out the contract if they weren't pretty sure that the AI was good enough to do that. So that's pretty cool.
And another reason why I want to bring this up, I knew these concepts have been around for a while. I did not think it was going to be 2 to 3 years before we started seeing these things getting produced. I thought we were still several years down the road. I mean, 2 to 3 is still a while. A lot can happen in 3 years. They could get delayed. They could change their mind. Contracts going to be lost. So who knows? But 2 to 3 years is not that long, and you know, it could be it's so short because it's actually probably been in development and production for years now, and they're just now coming public with it. So that's why they're able to give such a soon deadline.
Right.
And back to the Mosaic warfare strategy, the Navy is getting into. I mean, the Navy has its own drones anyway, but again, they're getting into new, cheaper, sophisticated drones to kind of go off of the whole. Let's just produce a crap ton. The most important thing of the drone is the software, and the software is, even if the drone gets shot down, they still have the software to use on something else. So,
right.
They're talking about making these stealth capable, so they're hard to pick up on radar. In fact, there's a picture of one that it's called the XQ-58A Valkyrie drone. It looks like an F-35 with no cockpit, essentially a small F-35 with tiny wings and no cockpit. That right now, I think there's only one company in the bid for the contract.
Yeah, it says 4 companies.
Does it?
Yeah.
I saw something about like
Kratos
Lockheed
Defense,
and
Boeing, Lockheed Martin, and General Atomics. Yeah.
Okay, so mine might be a little. My article might be a little out of date because I thought I saw somewhere saying there's talks of them throwing a bid in as well, but maybe.
Well, Kratos and Boeing already have their own drones, like you said. The Valkyrie is Kratos, and then Boeing has the Loyal Wingman. And so I think, and then General Atomics and Lockheed Martin both want to get in on the Skyborg thing.
I don't know who makes the Predator and the Reapers, but the Global Hawk is made by General Atomics, so they've already had a drone in service for a while now. So
yeah, and the interesting thing about this is, you know, we kind of have this picture of what a vehicle in the air has to look like, right? Like you said, the Valkyrie looks like a jet. It looks like the F-35, but we don't necessarily have to make it like that if there's no pilot, right? So as this advances, we're going to see different shapes, different sizes, different ways of carrying munitions, or like they were talking about doing search and rescue or intelligence. Like those.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like search that stuff is going to determine what it's going to look like. Search and rescue would be cool with a drone. Can you imagine being like stranded behind enemy lines and you get rescued by a drone? That'd be weird.
That would be weird. And you guys may think it's a little far off. The Global Hawk is the largest drone I think we have. The largest declassified drone I think we have. Aside from old fighter jets we just put our remote control into to use for target practice.
Yeah.
The Global Hawk, and it's already mostly autonomous. The Global Hawk is the kind of launch or forget, but it's a recon-only aircraft where the Predator and the Reapers are recon and attack, so they're still manned by somebody at some point. Global Hawk, they program it to land and to take off and do its 8+ hour mission and then come right back. So they've already been in that area with the autonomous manning of these drones. But the reason why I was saying the Global Hawk has actually a pretty large cargo bay on it. They've actually I supported the Global Hawks on one of my deployments, and they sent spare parts over with replacement Global Hawks because we do what's called tail swaps. We'll rotate aircraft out of theater so they can go back for routine maintenance or upgrades or whatever reason. So a Global Hawk came out to replace the one we had, so the old one can go back for whatever reason it needed to go back, and they put spare parts inside the cargo. So the Global Hawk is big enough to haul things, and now it wouldn't be hard to make one to haul one person if they needed to rescue somebody. So it's crazy, and like JD said, it's $400 million for a series of drones in different shapes and variations and sizes for $400 million. And then they go on an article, the F-35 and the F-15EX, which are the two aircraft where the Air Force is currently spending. Though I doubt the F-35 because I heard rumors that we're going to stop buying those because we've had a lot of issues since they've been produced. But I don't know how true that is. I know our numbers have. No, I know they've had issues. I don't know about the continuing of purchasing that. I know we've reduced the number we're going to purchase, but I don't know if we stopped it altogether. But they were $90 million plus per aircraft, $400 million for a series of aircraft because they're cheap. They're just going to be the most expensive part is probably going to be the software. Honestly, if you really think about it.
Yeah, I mean keeping that software up to date and keeping it like as smart as it can possibly be is probably definitely going to cost them the most over time. But yeah, I mean, maybe they can stop buying the jets when they don't need pilots anymore.
Especially if they're going to do like one F-35 per 4 or 5 drones. So
Air Force is going to be all enlisted, just enlisted maintenance men. That's what the Air Force is going to be.
We already started enlisted
controlled
pilots.
by robots.
So yeah, because a friend of mine was in my career field, which is supply, cross-trained into a drone. They called them sensor operators, but they also gave him the title of enlisted pilot. That's a bit of a stretch because he doesn't fly it; he just operates the camera on the drone. But and sometimes launch the missile, but he does not actually fly the aircraft. But they're still calling him enlisted pilots, and they're claiming PTSD for these guys apparently.
Well, I mean, if you think about it,
yeah,
they probably sit in a dark room shooting missiles at people for 12 hours a day,
hoping they're shooting what they're supposed to be shooting and not.
Right. With very very little idea of what you're shooting at, I would need some PTSD with that. That'd be messed up. Like that. And like it's a video game that's real. Like, right? Like.
What was that movie where they use real people in video games and like a person would take control of it was a long time ago. It was so stupid. That's probably the reason why I don't remember
a movie. I remember there was a Stargate episode that was like that.
There was I remember the Stargate
where
episode,
they were like
there was
piloting drones, and then they were told that it was real, and they're like, "No!" And then they cut them off.
Yeah, and they panicked because they realized they were actually killing real people. At least we're telling them they're killing real people, but it's still gonna be a shock because the people that get into that career field, they're gonna be like, "Oh, this is just like a video game," and then they're gonna make their first kill, and they're like, "Holy crap! I just ended somebody's life without even being there."
Yeah.
So,
and I remember when I was working for the Air Force Surgeon General, I had to write a story about chaplains and other mental health professionals in the military who have to get stationed with those drone guys because they had so much PTSD that they would go to their chaplains, but they couldn't talk to their chaplains because what they're doing is like top secret, so they can't actually reveal it. So they would have to try and explain their feelings to somebody who wasn't allowed to know why they were feeling the way that they were. So they've started training chaplains and other people. I can't remember. They have like actual counselors and psychologists and stuff to actually embed with those drone companies, just so that those guys have somebody to talk to when their missions are over. They
can't go to a regular psychiatrist like,
right,
what troubles you today? Well, I just destroyed a truckload of guys by a push of a button, and I saw again. Some of these cameras are pretty detailed, and you can make out what's happening. And sometimes you see things that a human being doesn't want. A normal, sane human being wouldn't want to see.
Yeah,
on a daily basis.
It's not like you're just shooting randomly like you would in a video game either. You're hunting people. You're tracking them. You're tracking their convoy or wherever they're living. You're tracking their homes, and you're getting permission. Like, you're literally somebody in that room somewhere is saying, "Do we have permission to shoot this missile at blah blah Blonstein?" Yeah, and you're like, "Okay," and I'm like, "Well, maybe not." Like, I don't know, man. That would be tough. I think that would weigh on you after a while. It seems like a simple job, because you're just using an Xbox controller to move a camera around. But I think mentally that could wear on you.
And it could, because they're not also getting the same kind of training like the specialized teams like SEAL Team 6 or Marine Scout Snipers.
Exactly.
They're mentally conditioned to know they are taking somebody's life. In fact, in a way, it's going to sound sick and distraught, but they're conditioned to almost lust after, like there's a phrase of seeing the pink mist.
Right.
And it's big, but that's embedded in them throughout their training. These guys are like, hey, sit in this dark room. We're going to sometimes ask you to push a button. Please do it when we tell you to do it. And then next thing
that's a great point. They don't have any of that kind of training. None of that. I mean, even without like training to kill or be killed is just the mental fortitude that comes with being in like special ops and stuff like that, where they kind of break you down and build you back up in the image that they need to get you to do it. You don't get that kind of training flying a drone for sure. So, yeah.
They get the same amount of conditioning I do. I'll get handed a gun every now and then, told to shoot a paper.
Look at you.
Yeah.
Ugh.
I know. Captain America program exists, and I'm going to be the real one someday.
Wow.
Yeah. We just watched that
a
movie.
reject from that. From
like
that
Abomination.
Yeah.
Like Abomination from Hulk.
All right, let's move on. That's a lot of talking about drones.
Yes, I was going to say that. Unless you had something to add, we're good. We're going to I'll let you introduce the next one.
All right, let's talk about Skyrim Grandma. It's a little less heavy on the weird, crazy...
Yeah, that would end up kind of getting a little heavy.
Yeah, we went a little dark there. All right, coming back. Bringing it back.
We're talking about not trying to do that today.
I know.
But anyway,
I know. We wanted to be lighthearted today, and look at us. All right. So let's talk about Skyrim Grandma, also known as Shirley Curry. She's a YouTube content creator. She has almost 1 million subs, so she's pretty popular. If you haven't heard of her, she's literally what the name suggests. She is a grandma-style older woman. I don't know if she's actually a grandma. I don't know anything about her family. But you would look at her and go, she's a grandma. And she plays Skyrim. And she doesn't even... It's like the only game she's played for years. And she doesn't she's not min-maxing it or adding mods or anything. She just kind of wanders around and takes pictures, and she kind of role plays her own little life and world inside of it. Like I was looking at her Twitter because of this story, and she was posting pictures, and there are sections of that game that she hasn't even been into because she's worried about going in there. I'm like, you've been playing for 8 years. You should be able to just like walk through everything. But she doesn't want to do it. And I think that's great. Do your own thing, be the person you want to be, and it's gotten you a lot of subs. So what do I know? But anyway, the reason we're bringing her up is she recently released a new video saying that she was going to take a break. She is an older woman. Yeah, it is sad, and she is an older woman, and obviously there are a lot of fears for the elderly right now, especially with the global pandemic and stuff. But she didn't really talk about that. She just said that she's been getting higher blood pressure, and she's been having some more health issues, and she's relating part of that to the stress of being a content creator. She has to deal with a lot of comments. Mostly, she talked a lot about the stupid comments she gets. People leave her a lot of dumb comments. I mean, she's been playing Skyrim for years. Pardon me. Years. And she gets comments about people tell her how to use her HUD or follow a quest icon or do stupid things like that. And she's like, I know how to do this stuff. I don't want to do this stuff. So she's basically
just playing the game.
Yeah, she's just playing the game her way. And when people see that, they get frustrated with her and want her to play the game her way. And then they also tell her about other games to play, even though Skyrim is the only she knows other games, but Skyrim's the game she wants to play. And and people get frustrated with that too, I guess. And I guess the comments started to get to her after a while, along with some other stuff. And you know how YouTube comments are, man. That's the worst comment section on the internet. So, she says she's going to start deleting more of those comments. She's going to start uploading less frequently, she's going to take a break. So we're losing a little bit of Skyrim Grandma, and the world is a sadder place.
It is. It is really sad. I mean, I haven't watched her. I'm not that much into Skyrim, but I've heard the story a long time ago, and I think she ended up getting an honorary character in one of the Skyrims. I think.
Yeah, that sounds familiar. Yeah, she did get real famous there for a little bit about her Skyrim playing, so I'm sure she got some sort of tribute. But yeah. She has. I think it was like 869,000 subscribers on YouTube, which is quite a lot. And basically, she really just posts screenshots on Twitter and like randomly wanders around the world. So it's kind of crazy.
She's just a sweet old lady giving a different perspective in the game, and a lot of people watched her for that reason. They weren't watching for a playthrough or a how-to. They're watching her. She's just a sweet old lady playing a video game. And there's just some people that can't just leave things alone. Yes, people. I don't know if you guys know this. People don't play games the way they're meant to be played. Some people just like to play games, and and some people let that get to them, especially diehard fans of certain franchises. They get upset when they see their franchise not being played the way they think they should. And they can, even though they may not mean to, they can get really mean about it too. And anybody that's been a content creator for an extended period of time knows that creating content is where it wears anybody down. I've taken several breaks. And it's not because of comments. I just sometimes I'm like, just don't feel like it today. So I don't. But somebody like her, and I'm sure a lot of people see an old, especially if they don't really know who she is, sees this old lady playing this game that they love, and they assume because she's an old lady, she doesn't know what she's doing.
Right.
And that can get tiring for anybody. I've seen YouTubers I've watched for years that used to, like, when people make comments about you should do it this way or you should do that, they kind of joke, but eventually you can hear them get cynical about it. Like, okay, it was funny at first, but this is annoying. And that's a guy around my age. Now, a woman her age that all she wants to do is have fun in Skyrim. So
yeah, exactly. It's crazy. Like, just let her pick those butterflies. What do you care what she's doing with that Nern root? She can just keep it in her backpack if she wants. Do whatever. It's so dumb. Why? Yeah, because she doesn't play the game the way we want to play it, so we get mad at her for it. Like, it's weird.
Here's a story for you guys that are
Skyrim.
Yeah, for those who are huge Skyrim fans, I don't. Especially with ESO, I don't play it for the story. I actually skip through all the dialogue and just get into the gameplays. And I'm sure that would make a lot of you cringe because you're like, the story is so in depth and it's amazing. I'm sure it is. I don't have the time to listen to every dialogue that pops up every 5 seconds, especially with the load screens in this game as they are. So I don't need to waste time.
With ESO. Yeah, ESO I definitely skip through. I think that's why your brother got mad at us.
That's why.
He wanted to like enjoy the quests and look at the lore and stuff. I was like, no, let's go.
No, I can understand that because I've actually played some games with some friends that I was like, hey, I'm actually trying to enjoy the story of this game. I've been waiting for this game for a while. And they're like, nope, speed run. I'm like, you dick. I wanted to hear that.
Yeah.
So I get it, but it doesn't. And there's so many other YouTubers out there that are doing playthroughs. If that's what you want to watch them.
Yeah, exactly. If you need the mods or you need to see somebody min-maxing their way to the top or whatever you want to do, it's out there. People are watching Skyrim Grandma because they just want to chill with a little old lady who likes video games. Like, it's just a sweet little thing to do. So relax.
And it may remind them of their grandmother who's cooler because she plays video games.
Yeah. So. My grandma's dead, but thank you. Thank you for reminding me.
So's mine.
Oh, okay.
Well, one of them are.
Okay. Anyway, so that's Skyrim Grandma. A little sad, but also if you've never heard from her, you should go look at her videos because they're fun. So.
And it sounds like she needs some encouragement. It doesn't sound like they got her completely. It doesn't sound like they've got her completely out of it. She's just stepping back for a little bit to hey, I don't need to get that worked up. She's even mentioned she's just going to start deleting comments because she doesn't want to deal with it anymore. Which
she should.
A lot of people throw fits. A lot of people throw fits about people deleting comments on YouTube on their content. It's their right. You don't like it, don't watch them.
Yep.
It's that simple. She's not there to listen to people criticize how she plays. She's just there to hang out with people. And if you don't like that, tough. I'm sorry. I have no sympathy for people to get worked up over petty things. So, but with again, to end on a lighter note, if you guys are interested, go check her out. Leave her a comment. Let her know she's still appreciated, and let her know that if you haven't seen her content, that you look forward to see her come back, watch some of her older videos, and maybe you can get hooked on Skyrim Grandma.
Hooray!
And
All
you're
right.
welcome. Maybe she'll make you near cookies.
Shut up. Nerd cookies. I wonder if they have the same song that Nerd does. That stupid, annoying music that lets you know it's nearby. Ooh, those would be the worst cookies. Imagine pooping those out. You'd like hear them going through your intestines. Like, what's that sound?
Oh, that
Oh,
was
it's just my Nerd cookies. I had like a whole batch, and they're working their way.
that one's out of tune. That was a bad cookie.
Yeah. She burnt that one. She burnt my Nerd cookie.
Okay.
Yeah, and we're moving on. So that was really all we had to talk about. We wanted to talk about some new video games we've been playing. We do this every couple of episodes when we have actually been playing new games. Sometimes we get a little addicted to the old ones. But
And
we have two new games that we have been playing. Me more than you on one, but you more than me on the other. Right?
Well, seeing that you got an alpha code to something that you have to get codes from, I can't play yours at all unless I try. So
I gave you a code, didn't I? I don't know. You don't have to.
It didn't work. Fine. You asked me if it. You asked me if it worked.
I dropped another one. There's another one in Facebook that I don't think anybody ever used.
I didn't even see it drop, so that's my bad then.
Losers. Anyway,
I know.
So let's talk about Crucible first.
Okay, yeah, because you can probably that, and I think you can talk longer about Prophecy because you've actually played that a lot longer. So
yeah, I won't ramble too much, but yeah.
But yeah, Crucible. So that dropped Wednesday or Thursday last week.
Yeah.
And I actually, instead of just talking about something and say I'll do it, I actually did it. I actually tried it out. I was actually hesitant to do so because I heard a lot of people say it's a lot like Overwatch. I like Overwatch when I'm in the mood. I'm not a diehard Overwatch fan, so I was hesitant to try it out, and I tried it out. And it gave me, a lot of people say it's like Overwatch. I will give them that. The classes are very similar to Overwatch. There's a very similar to Soldier 76. The sniper girl, I can't remember her name. She's very much like Black Widow or Widowmaker or whatever her name is in Overwatch. What?
I was just going to correct you, but then I realized I don't really care.
I can't remember. I'm sure there's a lot of Overwatch fans out there who will be upset that I butchered that, but there is a lot of similarities. I know people try to do that with Valorant, but I didn't see the similarities to Overwatch all that much in Valorant. I see it more so in Crucible, though. I do.
Oh,
I will give people that. And the only thing different is Overwatch, when it came out, didn't have backstories to its characters. I think it ended up building backstories because there's a demand for it. But Crucible is actually already starting. I don't know if you noticed this, JD. When you level up, you get audio tapes, and it's the character you're playing talking about their past. And like I have been playing Earl. His name is just Earl. In case you guys, and the way I can describe him is a redneck lizard man from another planet. He has a southern draw. He wears a trucker cap, and his health potion looks like a beer can, and he's got a Gatling gun called Misty. So yeah, it's a colorful character right there. Sounds like, from what I've gathered from his backstory, he's kind of a pariah on his home world for being different. I'm assuming he's different because he's very redneckish. I'm assuming there's not a whole lot of redneck lizard people, but who knows? And he's probably not even a lizard. It's just what he looks like to me, a fat lizard. But the game, though, is a lot of fun. I enjoy it. I learned very quickly, however, do not play it when exhausted, because I don't enjoy it. But that's like the general rule of thumb for me with any video game these days. I'm old, I'm cranky, and I'm negative. So if I'm tired, that gets heightened. And if that gets heightened, I enjoy things a lot less. Especially like JD and I can be very critical of one another sometimes and poke buttons.
Never critical of you. I never push your buttons. Not ever.
I'm admitting that I push buttons.
I'm not. I'm perfectly innocent in all of this. So continue.
And normally we have a lot of fun doing it, but if I'm tired, I get my fifis a little bit and respond emotionally. So I need to learn at that point to stop, because any game I play at that point is not fun to me. So if I enjoy a game, I must not ruin it with my attitude. So anyway, that's another topic of getting older and grumpier. But the game is a lot of fun. It reminds me a lot of, and as Valorant, it reminds me a lot more of Overwatch than Valorant does, but it also gives me a feel. A lot of people may not have played it because I don't think Evolved was very popular when it came out. If it did, it died off really quick. So a lot of people may not be familiar with it.
I'm
and
sure
Evolved
some people have heard
like,
of it at least, right?
Yeah, yeah. And if you guys are a little confused what Evolved is, it's kind of along the lines of the new Predator game that's out, where you play either a fire team or Predator. Predator hunts the fire team. The fire team does objectives while being hunted by the Predator, and they're either supposed to escape with objectives or kill the Predator. Which, by the way, that was really cool. I might check that out. They actually have Arnold doing tape diaries from the first time he met the Predator to his ongoing hunt to defeat predators that keep coming to Earth. So it was actually kind of cool. I watched a streamer and he was playing the tapes through. So, and it's a lot like that Jason game and Dead by Daylight. So it's very similar. It's one Evolved is a monster that it levels up by killing the local creatures, and the hunter's job is to hunt them before the monster gets too strong and kills them. I think the monster can also win by surviving too. I don't think it.
Who cares?
It has to kill them. Yeah. Anyway, so the reason why it reminds me of Monster Hunter, like I said, the monster hunts the creatures in the game to level up. Well, in Crucible, you hunt creatures to level up or capture harvesters and some other objectives that drop. So you may think, hey, I can just go in here and kick the other team's butt by killing them repeatedly. Nope, because the only way you can win is capturing hive hearts, and the first to 3 hive hearts wins. But you again can't just camp hive hearts and kill the enemy team when they show up, because the enemy team is going to be out there out leveling you, collecting essence from the creatures they killed or the objectives they complete. And then the essence gets turned into levels, which each level has a perk that helps your abilities. And some levels only have one perk. I don't know if that's...
Hold on. Crucible's a really popular game. It's really far out there. I don't think we need to describe the gameplay in detail.
Okay.
Tell me how you feel about it.
I like it.
Okay.
It's definitely a game, but this is me with most competitive games these days. A game I can only play when I want to. I can't just pick it up and play it, but that's not because it's a bad game. It's just because I have gamer rage, and I try not to gamer rage too much. So if I know I'm in a mood where I'm going to gamer rage, I don't play games like that. But I've been actually talking about straying away from competitive games altogether. But this game seems like a game that's kind of drawing me back in a little bit. So I enjoy it. I recommend it. It's free. You can't lose anything. It's free. Try it out. You hate it.
Yeah.
Delete it.
Yeah, it's nice that it's free to play. Makes it easy to get into, and yeah, I agree. I think it's a fun game. It's got some good gameplay elements. It's got good, just a variety of characters, a variety of things to do, and it is fun. But it's got the same weaknesses that most competitive, objective-based shooters have for me. Particularly when you're playing by yourself, is people don't play for the objectives, or people focus too much on kills. And there's no communication. Even when we all play together, we don't have very good communication with each other.
No, we don't.
Like, we're all just kind of there, So that grinds my gears sometimes, and that's the stuff that irritates me the most. But that being said, it's still a fun game, and we definitely played it for a few hours. A couple nights ago, and we all enjoyed playing together there.
Saturday, I think.
Yeah, so we'll definitely keep playing it. I like it. I haven't played Earl like he's played Earl. I like the big axe guy because he's stupid overpowered, just super easy to get kills with. Ridiculous that he's in the game, but I play him because of that. I like the little Ratatasker. I don't know his name. He looks like Ratatasker from Smite. Tuska, I think.
I'm fairly certain it's a she.
It's a she?
I'm fairly certain. I think there's
an
only
animal.
There's only 3 male characters. The rest are all female.
It's a rocket raccoon.
Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, I like the little. He's got tracer teleport dashes and a little shotgun that's fun to use when you get up close to people. So it's fun. I like it.
I think Yeah, I think it has a mouth too. Like it's very mouthy. It will mouth
Oh,
off. I think.
oh, yeah, gotcha, yeah. So yeah, I think we like Crucible, right? I think it's got a
Yeah,
thumbs up for both of us. Do it,
I'm actually
yay!
one of the things. I think one of the things I like about it so much, and hopefully this doesn't die off, but as most games they do, if they don't remain popular enough, the company will abandon it. But Amazon has been updating this on the regular, and there was a new mode added. Maybe it was in there before. I never saw it before, but it's an update kicked on while my brother and I were playing one time, and it forced us out of the game when we got back. I didn't even pay attention. I just clicked find match. The next thing I know, I was in an 8v8 match, which I don't remember seeing before that update. So I'm assuming the update put that in there. So they are constantly working on this game. It isn't for early release. I mean, it's fully released, but they're still working on it as it goes.
Yeah.
So there are things that one of my friends was complaining about. There is no in-game chat. In fact, they highly advertise their Discord to play with friends. It doesn't matter to us because I usually talk to my friends in Discord anyway. So even if a game has an in-game voice chat, I don't do it unless we're playing with if we're playing a game that has a good team in it that we do want to communicate, then yes, I'll go to the in-game chat to talk to that team. But other than that, I'm usually in Discord anyway.
Yeah, and to be fair to them, they pimped out their Discord. I don't know if you've been to the Crucible Discord.
No, I haven't.
But it's got some really advanced stuff. Like it even has advanced commands where you can like add Crucible add-ons to your own Discord, and you have to like accept their rules to be able to communicate in their Discord and stuff like that. I've never seen stuff like that in a Discord before. So they did go all out and made a really nice Discord for you to use.
So check it out. Check it out. And if you get really competitive, maybe you can find yourself a team in there. The last thing I will add, there does not seem to be any pay to win services in this game as of right now. It's all cosmetics. Not yet. It can happen because it does happen. And with it being an Amazon product, if you have Twitch Prime, you probably get free loot from it, as Twitch Prime does its monthly releases for gear or loot and stuff. So that's another benefit of it.
It wouldn't surprise me if they do a lot to push Crucible, especially on Twitch. Like if you're a streamer pushing it, because I've already seen they're already doing. Of course, they're doing sponsored ads. Like people can play Crucible for an hour or whatever as a sponsored thing. So, but yeah, they're gonna push Crucible a lot. So even if you're not a streamer or you're not a big streamer or whatever, it's still an opportunity to get free stuff, and free stuff is cool.
A lot of streamers are doing loot drops for games now, so who knows? Maybe somebody will have a skin pack you really like, and you can watch them and win it. So
yeah.
But that's it. The next game we're going to talk about, unless JG's got more to add about Crucible, the next game we're talking about is Prophecy, which I'm going to leave completely to him because the only thing I know about it is that it's Smite-like in some ways, but I'll let him explain how that works.
Yeah. So I've been playing a lot of Prophecy. If you're watching this live on my YouTube, then you know that because it's like the only thing I've uploaded for the last 2 weeks or whatever. But Prophecy is an auto battler or auto chess battler, however you want to call it. And this is very new. It's a very new game. And in fact, it's fascinating to me because it's from a mod, right? It was a mod of Defense of the Ancients, I think, of Dota 2. And then Dota 2, the developers created their own standalone game called Dota Underlords. League of Legends created a competitive game called Teamfight Tactics. And now this game is coming out. So there's literally only like 3 games of any note in this entire genre of game, which is crazy. Like it's that new. So if you've ever played Teamfight Tactics or Dota Underlords, you know what I'm talking about. But if you haven't, and most of my friends have not, hadn't even heard of those games, then this is a completely new thing. And it's I've
heard of Teamfight Tactics. So
okay. All right. So it's interesting to me, and I had never played those games. I knew what they were, and I'd seen them, but it was so new that I didn't know what I was doing, so I never really bothered. But this game, Prophecy, uses Smite's IP. Basically, it has a license to use Smite sights and sounds. Like if you've ever played Smite, you know it has all the gods like Loki and Zeus and Cupid and stuff like that. And so this game uses that stuff, although Cupid's not in the game, so I shouldn't have said that. But
with similar skins, right?
Yeah, it's got like similar appearance to the gods from Smite. It's got similar sounds. In a lot of ways, it has similar abilities, but in Prophecy, units only have one ability, basically. So like it won't have the full kit like from 1 to 4 or whatever.
Mhm.
So basically the way this game works, it's called auto chess for a reason. It's every time you fight a round, it is a chessboard, and you're fighting 1-on-1 with somebody else until one of you wins the game. And there's 8 people in every game, and so you switch off who you're fighting every round until everybody's defeated and there's only one remaining. So it's kind of a free-for-all every time you play. But the game itself is played automatically. Once the round starts, the units will fight based on how you've positioned and outfitted them, and whoever wins, wins. So the thing I like about it, first of all, is that the gameplay mechanics aren't, it's not like a trigger-happy gameplay mechanic, right? You don't have to be perfect in mechanics to win this game, which is great because I am old as crap and super slow. So what this game comes down to is decision making, and I like like you start with a leader, and then each level you can put new units on the board every time you level up, and then you kind of build your own team. So where you put them on the board, like you put the tanks in front and the carries in the back, but then you have assassins that can teleport to the back, so you have to put other fighters in the back to defend from the assassins and things like that. That decision making will determine how well your team does when the round starts. So that's why I like it. I like it because it really just comes down to two things: your own decision making and the choices you decide to do for your team, and a little bit of luck. So I've definitely lost games because of bad luck, and that kind of sucks. That's a bad feeling. But I've won a lot more games from like changing my tactics, and suddenly I go from losing to winning, and that feels really good. So
the characters level, and you don't pick them; they're randomly given to you, aren't they? Or
yeah, it's kind of like it's kind of like a pool of so you have units, items, and traits. And let's say there's like 50 items and 40 traits and 50 units. When the game starts, it picks from that pool a certain number. So even though there's 50 total traits, in any given game, you'll only have 20, right? So it'll be different traits that do different things every time you play, and you have to kind of mix and match with the units and the items that you're given to find like a good synergy kind of thing. So yeah, you're given like 2 units, and then you have to pick which one you want, or you can re-roll for more units, but that's based on luck, right? So that's kind of where luck comes into play. And it gets more and more complicated, but yeah, you're kind of given the unit, and then you have to decide whether you're going to use it or not, and how you're going to equip it, and where you're going to put it, and that kind of thing.
And if you make the wrong decision, you're done.
Yeah, and sometimes it feels like there's no decision you make that's the right one. Like you're just... Like I posted on Twitter this morning because I was super excited about it. I played a game yesterday where I literally lost the first 11 rounds, which I don't think I've ever lost 11 rounds in a row. And I was really close to just giving up on that game. And then I turned it around and ended up winning the whole thing, which is really hard to do at that point because you got to win at least a couple rounds to be relevant at all. But I managed to bring it back, and that felt good. So
greatest comeback story ever.
The greatest comeback story ever. Yeah.
Forget it, all the other sports franchises you guys follow and whatever they claim is the greatest comeback of all time.
Yeah. New York Giants versus the Baltimore Colts. Greatest story ever told? No. The greatest story ever told was my ranked prophecy match as Poseidon. But yeah, so, and the crazy thing about this game, so, well, first of all, let me just say that it does use Smite tactics stuff, like Smite sounds and stuff, but it's not made by Hi-Rez, the people that make Smite. And I think that's important because Hi-Rez tends to be a little disappointing sometimes. So this is a whole new company. It's made by people that used to work for Smite, for Hi-Rez, and it's made by a guy that used to be like the founder of Hi-Rez, and I'm sure he's still on their board or whatever. But it is a different company, which means they have a chance to not screw this up, which is great. And then the other thing is that this is like a pre-alpha game. When you load it up, it says pre-alpha, which it doesn't feel like that. It's a very smooth game, and it definitely feels like it's closer to release than it is to pre-alpha. So that's why it's been pretty nice to play, because it feels pretty good to play.
with it being a pre-alpha, what is a way somebody that may be interested in the game to get the game? I know you mentioned you got it through a streamer. Is there other ways, or is that pretty much the only way you can get a code?
Yeah, basically the only way to access it right now is a key. It's not available on Steam or anything like that. So if you want a key, you can go to the Play Prophecy Twitter and go to their website and sign up, but that would take a while. I still haven't gotten my key from signing up, and I signed up like 2 months ago. So the next best way, is to go to a Twitch stream or anybody's streaming Prophecy, and the devs have been very generous with the keys and just giving it away to whoever wants them. So you can go to a Twitch stream, and usually the streamer is going to have a key, and they usually do giveaways after the stream, their games are over. Or you could join the Prophecy Discord and just ask. They just drop them in there all the time. So just go to the Discord and be like, hey, I need a key. I'll be like, okay, here you go. And then you got a key.
You know who's not being generous with their keys? Rogue Company.
Yeah, what happened to that game? Man, that game disappeared.
We haven't heard about that since.
Yeah, have they even updated it? Like they were talking about even a couple of months ago, they were saying they were going to start throwing out keys and stuff, and then never even heard from them. It's weird. Anyway,
we got a T-shirt though. We got a T-shirt.
So. Yeah, and the other thing with this Prophecy game is even though it's only in pre-alpha, they're doing tournaments and stuff. They just announced today that they are doing a $10,000 tournament with like 32 players. And starting in June, they're going to be doing one every week for like the next 6 months or something.
They're really investing in this game, aren't they?
Yeah, so if you want to get in on this game and maybe win some money, you should do that. And remember, you can win based on luck. So,
you can also lose based on luck.
Yes, you can, and you will do that more, but you could win.
And unless it's changed, last time I talked to JD about this game, it is a solo game. You will not be building teams, so you'll be winning for yourself. That $10,000 will go to you and you alone because you're not on a team.
Exactly. Yeah, it's totally it's a free for all every single game. You can play with your friends. You can like queue up into the game, but
it would be a versus. You'll be versing each other.
Exactly. You'll be fighting your friends. Yeah.
Unless you want to stack it so your friend wins so he can take it to the top, but that's kind of a dick move if you're gonna go that route.
Yeah, don't be doing that. Don't be teaming. The Fortnite player just got in trouble for teaming. He lost $15,000.
Is this the same one that got in trouble for using auto aim? Or is this a different one?
No. The auto aim thing's not illegal. People aren't getting in trouble for that.
Oh.
That's just what controllers do. All controllers have auto aim, no matter where you're using them or what you're using them on. And the keyboard and mouse people are complaining about it. No, this guy was literally like, he won a competition, a Fortnite competition, and then they found out that he had been in cooperation with one of the other players. And you know, Fortnite, everybody's in there on your own. You're not teaming up with people. So he was like cooperating with somebody else who was in the game with him. Yeah.
Yep, stack the odds in his favor.
Yep. Anyway, that's it. Those are the games we're playing. We're playing Crucible and Prophecy. And we'll talk about any new games as they come up because we enjoy talking about the games we play. But that's pretty much it for the podcast this week. We will be back next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Trying out some new things like going live on YouTube and things like that. Did you have anything you want to say for the outro?
Other than the fact that kind of like since JD is streaming on YouTube, if you guys are interested in the two games where we talk about, when I do play Crucible, I stream it. I also have I have other videos in the works, but I have one video out about it right now. And for those interested in Prophecy, JD has several videos of Prophecy on his YouTube channel. So if you're curious about that, check out his YouTube channel. It's Mind Killer, not the Mind Killer. It's Mind Killer, right, on YouTube.
No, it's the Mind Killer.
It is the Mind Killer. So it's the Mind Killer. It'd be the easiest way to get to it right now is through his Twitter, because if you look that up, you're gonna find a lot of Dune references on YouTube. So just go to his Twitter and click his link that way if you want to check out his Prophecy videos, and follow him because he'll post on Twitter when those videos go live. So
it's true. It is true, people. All right, thank you guys for watching. Hope you had a good time. I hope the YouTube live thing works out. If not, maybe we won't do it. I don't know. Who cares? Anyway, see ya. Bye.
Bye, everybody.